Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us, both in person and on Zoom. It's a very exciting day, and I'm happy to welcome our new head coach, Lynne Roberts. She brings 27 plus seasons of collegiate coaching experience and 386 wins as a head coach. Coach Roberts most recently served as head coach at the University of Utah, where she won a regular season Pac-12 championship and led the Utes to number 2 ranking in the nation and won Pac-12 Coach of the Year. Without further ado, I'll pass it over to our general manager, Reagan Peebley.
Thanks, Joshua, and thank you for everything you've done to get this ready for us. And let's start out with gratitude, okay? Just first of all, there's breath in all of our lungs. We put our feet on the ground today. So I'm going to start there. We always have things to be grateful for. I want to thank you all for being here and your patience through the process. I know you guys have been waiting on this for a minute. Definitely want to thank our players for making it here as well. That means a lot. I know there were a lot of them that wanted to be here. Some of them are overseas and just couldn't get here in time or at all, but they have definitely been engaged with this process as well, and I'm so thankful that you three were able to make it. I think Dee dropped off Maya at school, got on a plane, came out here, so really appreciate you all. I want to thank our staff, Christine Manger, our president. We have a lot of our VPs here in this room that have been with this organization for a long time. We have a lot of our business ops and our basketball ops, and they also have just been so supportive through this process of making sure that we are finding the right person to be our next head coach. I want to thank Billy King and Turnkey. They have been great leaders and partners in this search. It was definitely something that we wanted to partner with them on specifically, and every step of the way they were there for us. So I can't thank them enough, and Billy's partnership. Want to thank Eric Holloman. Eric has been so committed and clear-minded and consistent in how he has shown up for me since I stepped foot into this organization. I know Christine Manger, our president, but through this entire process, there has not been a meeting that we've had that he has not been a part of and participating. He and our ownership have been so supportive in this process. I know they have been for years, but my experience with them through this head coach search has been they are completely invested in this. We flew all over the country. This was an exhaustive search, truly a global search, and I racked up a lot of frequent flyer miles, I'll just tell you that much, being able to meet with some incredible candidates. But with that being said, this is such an exciting day because that whole entire process brought us here to Lynne Roberts. And Lynne is somebody I've known a really long time. We'll be able to get into that maybe a little bit more later. But you know, when Eric and I set out to identify the pillars that we were looking for in a head coach, we were very, very clear. There were 3 main things. We wanted a smart basketball mind that saw the game in a forward-thinking way. We wanted somebody that was a developer of a program, a developer of people, a developer of skill. And when I say develop, I mean more nurturer. That means you have to be a great leader. So that was the 3rd thing we were really looking for, was just an excellent leader. Somebody who was transformational, not just to an offense and a defense, but to people, to a community. We knew that's what Los Angeles deserved, and it's definitely what we know the women that put on this Sparks jersey deserve every single day. So with Lynne, I say we check on all of those. A basketball mind, forward thinking. You guys, I'm sure, have already heard about all the analytics. I'll let her speak to that, definitely. I'll let Coach speak. But while analytics, I know, are part of her system and how she sees the game, it's not what she leads with. She knows that this is really about people and about humans. They're not a number, they're not a statistic, these are people. And again, that goes to the development of these people and of this organization and who she is and how she's shown up, whether it's been as a player with Gordy Presnell as her leader when she was at Seattle Pacific. She also was a coach there and built that team into one of the top teams in the country. When she was at Chico State, also another great program that led the country. And then what she did at Pacific, and that's when I really first started to get to know Lynne, was when she was at Pacific and I was a head coach at Utah State and at Fresno State. And then she goes into Utah. Every single program, she left better than when she found it. She left people better than when she found it. And she continued to evolve, I think, just how she led, but also what her teams looked like. Lynne is somebody, and I've got some notes here because these are other people's words. So when it comes to leaders, you don't know I've done this, but I've checked in with some people. You would hope I checked in with people when I'm hiring a coach. But when it comes to leadership, these are some of the quotes that I have on you. She encourages confidence while guarding against ego. That's hard to do, really hard to do. She leads with a source of confidence and not fear. She's a servant and always focused on how to help others be their best self. She has high standards for us. She cares about us. She keeps things simple for players and for everybody that works for her. And she's genuine. And that's how she's always shown up as I've known her for over a decade. I know that's how she's walked through this entire process. I know she's leaving behind something really special at the University of Utah, something that is respected across the country by our country's best coaches, not just on the collegiate side, on the pro side, on the men's side, on the women's side. And it is such an honor, Lynne Roberts, to have you as our new head coach for the Los Angeles Sparks.
Thank you. Thank you all. What a great day. I so appreciate you guys being here. Members of the media, thank you for covering women's basketball and the Sparks, for being here. It means a lot. It matters. And I really appreciate it. I look forward to getting to know all of you. And thank you to the Sparks organization. This has been quite a whirlwind, I will admit, but it's been amazing. And you know, you go through these times in life where you're not sure, and then at every turn, things just kind of point you to where you think you should be going. And this was this situation. I echo Reagan, Eric Coleman. The conversations I had with him were unbelievable. I appreciate him and his belief in this, in me, and where he sees this franchise and what he's committed to doing. Reagan, thank you. This process has been so smooth and easy because of your leadership there. Christine, thank you. You know, I have met today a lot of the people that I've been on calls with, or a lot of the front office staff. It's great to finally get the personalities with the Zoom faces. So it's great. And then I want to thank the players for being here. Ray, Erica, Cam, thank you guys. I can't wait to get to work with you guys, but your being here means a lot to me. And it speaks to, you know, I've talked to almost every player except for a couple that are overseas, but there is a sense that you guys have a good group, right? There's a good group. And it just makes me excited, and I was excited to see you, but I was way more excited to see them. And you know, I can't wait. And you guys are the way on the phone with people and just in person. It's like, okay, this is a good thing. We've got a good thing going, and I can't wait to get started with it. I do want to thank the University of Utah. Like Reagan said, I poured 10 years of my life into that place, and I loved it. I loved every minute of it. And you know, where we started was not great. Where it is now is great, and I'm very proud of that. But it's not about me. It's about the players that we've had there, and what they have bought into, and it's just a special place. They're in good hands. My associate head coach of 12 years took the job, Gavin Peterson, so I feel really good about that. But just have so much love and respect for the players at Utah, the administration. The place was special. Last but not least, I want to thank my family, my wife Caitlin, Miles and Henry, my boys. Guys, I have done a lot of cool things. I've been able to do a lot of cool things, but you guys are by far the coolest I've ever done. Correct, he says. So Yeah, I'm excited. I think where the sparks are right now is, in the WNBA, it's a great time. I've been asked, why are you doing this? Why wouldn't I do this? A chance to be in what I want to be the premier market in the WNBA. We've got the support. I trust Eric and the ownership group and what they're saying, where they want our program to be, where they want this organization to go. I think this is this should be the best organization, program, team in the W. And I'm a competitor at heart. So, I'm up for the challenge. I know there's going to be peaks and valleys and all the stuff. But I'm here to do what I can and do my part to win as many games as we can and get that championship culture back here. There's obviously a storied history here, 3 titles, some incredible names have come through here. Candace Parker, Lisa Leslie, Mecca, there's some unbelievable players. And, I'm looking at 3 right here that I think are pretty unbelievable too. We're gonna do just fine. And I want to compete. I want to win now. I know that's easier said than done, but I'm up for the challenge and I can't wait to get started.
We're now going to open it up to questions both in the room and on Zoom. If you're on Zoom, please use the hand raise function if you have a question. I see we already have some questions, and only unmute yourself when I call on you. And for all media, please state your name and media outlet when called on before asking your question. Jim? We'll start with Jim here.
Excuse me, guys. Thank you very much, sir. First of all, Coach, congratulations. I'm Jim Hill, KCAL 9 News.
Nice to meet you.
Without a doubt, this is the sports capital of the world. We have the best of everything, not only professionally, collegiately, and in between. And with that being said, I know pressure is for tires, but is there a little urgency on your part and the team's part because you will be competing for the sports dollar?
I'll tell you what, no one's going to put more pressure on me than I put on me. So whether that's in LA or wherever, I welcome it because that's what I do. When it's just me and my thoughts, I put a ton of pressure on myself to succeed. And as a competitor and as someone that kind of thrives in pressure, being in this market, being in LA, it sounds like heaven to me.
Thank you.
Sabrina?
Hi, Sabrina Merchant, The Athletic, and Coach.
Hi,
Nice to see you, Lynne.
good to see you.
You've obviously been a head coach for a very long time, but making the jump to this level, what is it that is on your to-do list of things that you have to learn to be a WNBA head coach?
Well, I think basketball is basketball. I think coaching is coaching. For me, everywhere I've coached, it's about developing relationships with the players, creating a true, genuine, authentic connection with each one of them. And then, it's my job to figure out, okay, here's what we have, here's where, maybe we're not our best, or here's where we're really, really good, and create a system that plays to their strengths. And I don't know that that's different from junior high to the WNBA in terms of what players need, in terms of being understood, being respected, being encouraged, being challenged. Having that, again, genuine, authentic connection with your coach, I think is what coaching is. I look forward to diving in with the players on our team and learning together, right? They're gonna learn me, I'm gonna learn them, but to me, I think, I come into this with a humble confidence. So yes, there's things I will learn, just like I would have learned if I'd stayed at Utah. If I'm not learning, then I'm getting worse. And this is a great opportunity for me to challenge myself as a coach, but I'm humble in that, knowing that I will learn, but I'm also very confident in my ability to do it.
DJ?
Hey Coach, DJ from Infinity TV. Welcome to LA.
Thank you.
My question is, as a player who matriculated to going into coaching, what advantages do you think you have in making this jump because you were a past player?
Yeah, well, I wasn't near as good as these guys, let's be really clear.
Although there was a 3-point record.
There
Yeah,
was
that you still
It was
hold.
a
Talk
3-point
about
record.
that. Let's talk about that. No. I do think there are definitely moments where I still think, I remember this as a player. I remember this as a player. And then whether it was good or bad, and then trying to, as a coach, either continue doing that or do something differently. So I do think, I do remember, it was a while ago, but I do remember being a player, and I do think that helps a little bit. But I always say coaching is the next best thing to playing. So those of us that can't play anymore, we coach. So here I sit.
Thank you.
Aaron?
Coach, Aaron Heisen over here. Sorry.
Hello.
Aaron Heisen, Southern California News Group. I know you've been in the Pac-12 for 9-10 seasons now, and you've worked with some of the coaches specifically in Los Angeles. I'm just wondering how you expect to work with, the UCLA and USC coaches specifically to optimize this, women's hoop in this market.
Yeah, I think I have tremendous relationships with Corey Close and Lindsay Gottlieb and their whole staffs. I think right now in the country, LA is where it's at. And I want to be the top of that pyramid, right, with the Sparks. And I have, Corey Close is a dear, dear friend of mine. Lindsay Gottlieb and I is a really good friend. We have competed against each other for 20 years. I've talked with both of them since accepting this job, and they're excited and offering me all sorts of advice as to where to eat and where to stay and what are the fun things to do. So
Probably who to draft.
yes, yes. So I do think that we should be the starship in this, and I think it's only going to help us all that we're all doing really well.
And that was intentional. I'll just say real quick that we were bringing somebody into this role that had existing relationships, because again, this is a community of women's basketball and quite frankly, women's athletics that is exceptional. And we are partners in that, in this community. Not just business partners, but also thought partners. And that was intentional on our part.
We'll go to Zoom now to Howard Magdal.
Howard.
Yes.
Good to see you both. Coach, congratulations.
Thank you.
I want to ask a little bit of a nerdy question, if I can. The all-time record for most points in the paint and threes combined for any WNBA team is a little over 77%. Your Utah team was north of 88%, which is sort of weird to say out loud. It's sort of a crazy number, but it's not a crazy number for your teams. I wonder, when you think about the way in which you want to approach this, sort of two things. One, is that a realistic place to reach? Is that a number you'd like to reach? And more to the point, do you want to build a team that helps you reach that number, if not that number, a greater number of in the paint and threes, which has been such a central part of your offense?
It's good to hear your voice, Howard. Yeah, I think, for me, everything with scoring, it comes down to points per shot attempt and points per possession. So if it's, and I'm not going to geek out here, I'll spare you all, because I can really go deep on this, but if you're talking about points per shot attempt, the highest quality shot for points per shot attempt is around the rim and threes. Threes are worth more than two. I didn't major in math, but I can verify that. And around the rim, obviously, it's a higher percentage shot. So we, theoretically, those are the best shots if we're talking about shot quality. It's not a hard line rule, though, right? So it's, my whole thing is predicated on shot quality and making sure players understand why it's a good shot, why it's not a good shot, and then but you have to tailor it to your personnel. You can't just say, this is what we're going to do, and then go meet your team and see what, you have to tailor it specifically to what your players are really good at. But everything we do is going to be predicated on quality shot selection.
Edwin?
Edwin Garcia, Silver Screen and Rolling Social Appeal. Coach, my question is, you talk about returning to glory, and this team is coming off its worst winning percentage in history, and it's currently its longest playoff drought in history. How important is it to make the playoffs and begin contending soon?
I mean, I wouldn't be here if I didn't think we had a really strong roster in place, and the opportunity to, bring in a couple pieces where that's realistic. Is it going to be easy? No. Is it going to be challenging? Absolutely. Is it possible? For sure. That's the goal. That's the goal every year, and in LA and with this organization, that's going to be our goal. Now, you have to say that's our goal, and then you have to back up and say, how are we going to get there, right? And what are the steps in the process? What's that going to look like? and that's my job, that's Reagan's job. But I think we've got an incredible core group. We've got we've got kind of a cool combination of some veteran leadership. De'Erica's one, Azare's one, Lexi, and then we've got a really dynamic young group with Rakia and Cam and Ray and Zaya. Like that's a good roster right there. And then we can keep working with it. But I believe in the guys we have now, and we'll add to it. But heck yeah, I want to make the playoffs.
Ray.
Hi, Ray Morales, Sport Tribune. Welcome, Coach.
Thank you.
So when did this process start for you to becoming the Sparks head coach, and why make the jump now?
I got to tell you, I woke up this morning and I had no idea what day it was. So I don't know when it started. Not that long ago, and I can let Reagan answer a little bit of this too. But I had a few long conversations with Reagan on the phone, and we had a pre-existing friendship. And so, she just kind of called like, "Hey, let's talk about this." And I was 100% invested at Utah. I wasn't looking to leave or anything like that. I had just signed a 6-year extension and all the things. But, I talked to Reagan a few times. I talked to Eric. I talked to, some other people. And it just kind of felt like, okay, this is a golden opportunity. And as a competitor, the chance to coach the best in the world, that's what I want. And as hard as it is, and it was, and it still is, to have left kind of the program that we built there at Utah, and those players and the families and the relationships, that was really hard. But sports is like that sometimes, and we just felt like for our family and for my, I am competitive to a fault. I'm going to race Reagan off the podium here when it's over. But, the chance to be in this league at a time when the W is, it feels like there's a tipping point, and to where it's just at a different level of opportunity. And that's why I made the jump. And it's like I said, as challenging as it was to leave those players, I feel like I have been affirmed at every turn that it was the right move.
Back to Zoom for a question from Rachel Galligan.
Hi, Lynn.
Hi, Rachel.
Congratulations on the opportunity. Hi, Reagan. Good to see you
Hi,
guys.
Rachel. I can't see you, but I hear you.
Yeah, you don't want to see me right now.
Okay.
Happy for you, Lynn. And if you remember, we were just together in Kansas City at Big 12 Media Days, what felt like, about a month ago? I just wanted to ask you one question about just we're seeing now that it seems like a little bit of a trend with Carl Smesko and now yourself making this jump from the college ranks into the pro ranks, and obviously a lot of open positions in the WNBA. How much did the current climate, current landscape of the NCAA world, did that have any play in this whatsoever? And then secondly, has this always been a dream of yours to be a part of the WNBA?
Great question. I don't think, I'm not sitting here because I was nervous about the NCAA or tired of, anything like that. I'm sitting here because it's a chance to coach the best people in the world and win a championship in LA. That's it. I don't know that there's another franchise I would have been, had late conversations with like I did with Reagan. I think the chance to be part of the Sparks organization was what was really luring to me, and talking with the ownership and all of that. So I'm not here because of any sort of fatigue with NCAA. I don't know if there will be more of a trend. I certainly think the rise in the W and the investments being made, it might be more of a trend, but that's not why I'm here.
I'd like to say something on that. Just being a former coach at the collegiate level and now in this role and going through this process, it was really interesting hearing the narratives that were out there that some of the best, we know that this is a league of the best players, and we have some of the best coaches in the world that coach basketball at any level in this league. And there are also great coaches at the college level. But there was a belief and a narrative that college, that the pool was small in which to get coaches to come and coach at this level. And I think the pool is small if you're not willing to be patient and you're not willing to invest. The pool is actually really wide and really deep. I'm so proud of the coaching pool that is out there that coaches women's basketball. There just has to be an investment in it, and time, that's an investment of time, of resources, and again, that is definitely a testament, I think, to Eric Holloman and his leadership and our ownership, but also the patience that we had to really foster a relationship and conversations and identify and not try to do this and be the first one to name a coach. It was about getting the right coach. And in order to do that, there was going to need to be patience. And again, I started this thanking you all for that patience and giving us grace and the space to be able to do that. But I just, as a former coach, I want to say again, the pool is wide and deep. Don't limit ourselves.
Back to Zoom for Jackie Powell. She has a question for each of you.
Hello all. Thanks for taking the time. Hi Reagan, and congratulations to Lynne. Reagan, I'll start with you. So obviously the expansion draft is coming up real soon, and this league hasn't had an expansion draft in a very long time. So I'm just curious how you have been preparing for something that's really quite new for almost all of the executives currently leading these teams across the W.
Yeah, and I'd say like the NBA hasn't done it either in a long time. So when you seek some guidance from other people that have been a part of this process, it's hard because, you know, I've talked to some of the best that are out there on the NBA side, and they're like, I don't know. I mean, teach us what you learned. Well, we're going to go through it a couple of times. And let's not forget that there's an expansion draft this season, but there's going to be another one with multiple teams that are coming up. So I think that adds another layer to the challenges in this. To be honest, I think the hardest thing about this is what the players are going through. There's an unknown for them. And when I try to position myself in their shoes, goodness gracious, that's hard. And I'm looking at them right now, like they're going to find out the same time that we find out and the world finds out. That's tough. But again, there's growth in our league that's happening. I think this is the right way to go about it. And you know, as we try to, and have been for a long time with Eli Horowitz, our assistant GM, and it's great to have Lynne's partnership in this as well. Her being here is significant to some of those decisions, and not just what our team will look like this year, but also in the years to come.
Now we go back to Zoom to Mike Mangas from Redding, California.
Oh, Redding.
Turn up.
Yeah, my husband's from Redding.
KRCR TV, congratulations.
Thank
You
you.
went to Enterprise, right?
I sure did. Go Hornets.
Can you, although I went to Shasta, I won't take offense.
Okay.
Can you talk a little bit about your very early roots, the influence that high school and then later at Chico State had for you in for furthering your career to this point?
Mike, I remember you being on TV when I was like in middle school. So you were like the celebrity in town. So it's good to hear your voice again. Yeah, I'm proud of where I'm from. I'm from, you know, Central Valley up north, Redding, California, right by Shasta Lake. And you know, that's what my dad was, a strawberry farmer, and we grew up. It's where I grew up, and it's a blue collar community. You know, everybody it's pretty good size, but everybody knows each other. And I just felt tremendously supported there. Always have. And you know, it's just a special place. It really is. And then having the chance, my first head job, I took the job at Chico State University when I was 25, which I still don't know how I landed that job, but I talked my way into it, and we did well. But you know, living in Chico was fun. I was I was there in my 20s, and that still feels very home. And when I've lived in Salt Lake City for 10 years. People say, you meet somebody out in Texas, where are you from? And I always catch myself because I always say California, even though I lived in Salt Lake City. So my NorCal roots are strong, and I'm very proud to say I'm from there.
Anthony, second row middle.
How you doing? Anthony DeLeon, LA Times. It was also announced earlier the plans for your new practice facilities are in motion. What does that say about the organization and the owner's commitment to continue to invest in the future?
Yeah, well, I know the announcement came out today, but it's been in motion for quite some time, right? So all those who linger aren't necessarily lost. We're just being very intentional in how we go about all of this. And again, Eric Holloman and our ownership's leadership in this space has been tremendous. We're really excited about this. And we know that it's imperative. Again, this is about the players. This is about the women and creating a place that they are resourced, not just with the best coaching staff and the best teammates, but their best training facility, all of the nutrition, all of the things. And we're not just interested in building a practice facility and having this house. We want to build a home that again is reflective of who they are, the direction we're going, the excellence that they strive for and model all the time. We want to put memories in there, and we're really thrilled that we are well on our way there.
Mark. From Seattle Pacific.
With your OGs. Nice.
We're bringing them all out.
You're rolling deep.
That's how I do it.
Mark, can you unmute?
Okay, there we go.
There you go.
All right. Lynne, we talked several years ago. What do you remember about your time here, and how did that, maybe in its own small way, kind of pave your path to where you are right now? What do you remember about your SPU days in particular?
That was a great, I loved my time there. It was definitely where I should have gone. It was, I played for the great Gordy Presnell there. He's now the head coach at Boise State. He has had as much impact on me as anyone in my life. And it was a really, it was just the perfect place for me. And I had other opportunities to go elsewhere. And again, I keep coming back to this kind of gut feeling, but I just knew that's where I was supposed to go. And it just felt right. And, I grew up a lot there. I was a knucklehead from time to time. I know, shocking. But I got, I really matured and developed and had, we won a lot. We had a lot of fun. And then I went on and got my graduate degree there too. And it's just, I look back at my time at SPU and I'm just so grateful that that's where my path led me.
Aaron?
Yeah, Coach. Over here again. Sorry.
Oh, there you are. I don't know.
No, you're good. Yeah, I know you did some time working with the Utah Jazz when you were kind of like building up your offensive system.
Yeah.
Just two questions for you. When did you kind of start making that shift towards your innovative offensive system, and how did working with the pros and a team like the Utah Jazz help you out with that?
Yeah, so the COVID year, we had been doing pretty well in postseason and all the things, and then COVID, which was obviously awful for the planet and for everybody, but it particularly hit my basketball team in terms of we were bad. And it was just, we had a really bad season, and I couldn't really put my finger on it. And actually, Cam, you'll appreciate this, we played Stanford at home. I mean, we all remember COVID. There's no one in the stands, and we got just blasted by Stanford. And I'm sitting at home, and Tara calls me, and I look at my phone. I'm like, oh, Tara's calling me. So I, go outside and I take the call, and she's like, Lynne, and she basically said, you need to get your stuff together. And she didn't say it like that. And she said, I don't want to see another coach at Utah, but you need to do that. You're too good of a coach. You need to. And it kind of was like water splashing on the face, where I was like, whoa. And so that was kind of the genesis of when I was like, okay. So it was trying to figure out, honestly, in Salt Lake City at the University of Utah, we were competing. It was like in the Pac-12, which was the best conference in women's basketball in the country. Okay, so for us to climb and jump, I know there's some argument down there, but how can we, if the Cameron Brinks of the world are going to Stanford, how are we going to beat Stanford if I'm not getting a Cameron Brink? So it was like, okay, how can I change the game, change the race so that I can win the race with different athletes? Does that make sense? So that's when I kind of did the deep dive analytically about what really translates into winning in women's basketball. What are the things that really matter? Like, it doesn't matter what style you play, if you're man, zone, whatever. What are the statistical things that really impact winning in the women's game? And so honed in on those. I mean, I nerded out and then just kind of created a style from there. Obviously, Quinn Snyder was the coach of the Jazz at that time. He's a brilliant guy. And, just kind of picked their brains, went to practice as much as I could, and just figured out how to kind of change the race so that it was one that we could win.
We have one final question back to Jackie Powell.
Hi, thank you. Lynne, for you, also about the expansion draft, I'm just curious how you see your role or what it is in determining, who the Sparks are going to protect, since you are sort of just jumping in to a group with so many new faces.
Yeah, I don't know that that's something that I'm, really in a position to answer right now. I'm still figuring out, watching film. I know a lot of these players from watching them, but I don't know that I'm equipped to answer that right now. I do think it's a unique situation. I agree with Reagan, and I do feel for the players across the league where that's got to just kind of feel weird. We're going to do it this year, and then we'll do it next summer with at least two expansion teams. So it's a unique situation, and my goal, my charge as the coach is to make sure that every player on the team knows they're valued. And this is an unfortunate byproduct of expansion. I think expansion is a good thing. It's good for our league, but my job is to take care of the players and make sure that they know that we care about them and do what's best for them.
Thank you, Lynne.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lynne. Thank you, Reagan. Thank you to the media, both in person and on Zoom. And thanks for everyone here.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. And
Appreciate it.
Thank you to Tracey Jackson. It was a quick turnaround to get something like this done fast, and to the crypto staff making it happen. I know we have some of you guys here right now, so just a huge thank you. We're partnered with you all, and we couldn't ask for better partners. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
I don't want to beat you.